I'm at the grocery store and these prices are crazy.
Don't you love when they downsize inflation? Look how itty bitty.
$8 for some milk.
So today we're going to be taking a look at shrinkflation and groceries about halfway into 2025, because all I've seen when it comes to people's experiences online is that we're paying more money for less product at the store every single day. We're going to be going over many different examples today: the grocery store, fast food, even the farmer's market, along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave it in the comments down below. But we're going to start off with a clip going over shrinkflation if you don't know what that is.
Another huge problem I feel like we don't address enough is not just the inflation, but it's the shrinkflation. It's the fact that they're shrinking the products, they're giving us less in fast food, in the grocery store, and then they're charging us more. It's insane.
Embarrassing examples of shrinkflation. Toblerone bars now have bigger gaps and less chocolate. Last one will surprise you the most. Gum packs now have a thumb spot to grab them instead of a piece of gum. Pringles have gotten smaller. The tube is the same size, but the chips inside are much thinner. This bottle of soy sauce now has an empty shell in the middle. Gatorade bottle has a nearly inch-deep indent at the bottom. This Cadbury chocolate bar says now bigger, but it looks the same size as a regular one. It feels like ice cream now costs more than just ice. This toilet paper sheet from 2025 next to one from 2022.
So this has been happening for quite a while, but people have really started to notice over the past few years with a lot of examples online. Many of these companies have deceptive packaging, making it look like you're getting more than you actually are, all while prices still continue to rise at the grocery store. We can look at a couple of the comments. One day people will stop calling it shrinkflation and call it by its real name, greed. Cake mixes no longer make 24 cupcakes, they make 18 now. They do it because it makes it super difficult to actually show inflation data. I remember when this started back during the 2008 crash. Chip bags and bags of anything used to be completely full pre-2008. Now we have a comment from one of you guys before we get into all the videos that I've seen about chips. So people are now working harder for less pay to buy more expensive food at a smaller portion size. And I think some of the craziest examples are the potato chips or pretzels, anything like that. It's honestly pretty laughable.
Dad just picked up this bag of Smith's chips from IGA in Queensland, and tell him how much is in there.
Well, we'll have a look on the scale.
45. All right, open it up.
I'm looking forward to eating my chippies.
This is sick. And look how much it is. This is sick.
Shrinkflation. Look at this. I can see through it.
Companies are out here gaslighting us into thinking that shrinkflation isn't real. A woman literally laughed at me when I picked this up. Look at that. There's like 3 chips.
Now, I do want to say before we get into any of the comments, I don't believe that this is happening on purpose. Overall, if you do buy any sort of chip, it's never full to the actual top of the bag now. But I feel like this has to be an error by the machine that puts the chips in the bag, because human beings aren't actually doing it. I don't know how it gets past quality control when you see a full bag with like 5 potato chips in it, but it's definitely happening more and more often. There were many more examples than the ones I just showed you, but still not really the best look for a company right now when people are just scraping by and the prices of groceries are going through the roof, and you open up a bag of chips and there's nothing in there. The worst is the cake mix that only makes 21 cupcakes now. There's another person saying that. Company, we need the bag to be mostly air to preserve the food quality in our bags. Do they think I don't remember when party size Lay's potato chips came in a bag the size of my torso? Now we'll see a little bit later in the video with the party size items. It does seem to be shrinking, and now there's a giant size that I've seen in the stores. But here's another tactic that others are starting to see when it comes to pricing any of these items.
So I just wanted to share something interesting. My boyfriend just got home from No Frills in Alberta, Canada, and he noticed that all of the signs in the store now, instead of saying like save $1, save $2, whatever, it says the percentage now. Like, I'm sorry, but who's gonna sit there and do math and calculate the percentage to see like how much you're saving?
It's just another tactic by these companies to make it look like you're saving more than you actually are. And the other thing that I think about when it comes to the digital price tags, instead of the little paper ones that you normally see, is that they could go in the back on the computer and change anything at an instant. Even though stores are not allowed to do this, price gouging items that are in more demand, we've heard stores do exactly that and have gotten lawsuits filed against them for doing it. So forgive me, but I don't trust a digital price tag. It just feels like another way you could get ripped off. Some of the comments here, it's because 12% sounds better than $1. It's a marketing tactic, that's what I was saying. Yep, it's 1000% to trick the eyes and brain. They're also listing items on sale, but really the regular price is highlighted with a yellow sale sign. We have a comment that goes along with this. My grandmother used to talk about this back in the 80s and 90s. She taught me to shop by the ounce versus the price of the item. You really see how they sneak things in. Like when the bottoms of glass bottles started to become concave. That's exactly what we see with Gatorade bottles now. Many other companies are doing it as well. The packaging really tricks people, and we have a couple screenshots of exactly that, a marketing scam spotted, with two different types of Quaker oats. Take a look at the first one for $2.98 old fashioned right here, then $3.87 for overnight rolled oats. Then if you actually go to the ingredients and what you're getting, it's the exact same thing. One's just almost $1 more and in different packaging. And if I really wanted to, there are tons of different examples. Here's one up on screen with any of those boxes of chocolate for Valentine's Day or anything like that. Now each one of them are spread out more, so you actually end up getting less than you did before. Here we have another example of somebody finding old inventory in the back of the shelf for the Glad garbage bags. It used to be 45 bags and has dropped down to 40, but it still is the same price. You could even see Costco here with paper towels, one of the very popular stores for bulk item purchases, which normally means you're getting it cheaper, but still, shrinkflation is definitely prevalent as well. And a little side tangent with Costco, a pretty crazy post that I saw, you can now finance a $1.50 hot dog at Costco in 4 installment payments of almost 38 cents. You could pay off your Costco hot dog in a month and a half. What a time to be alive. Here's some of the comments from the previous examples though. The toilet paper is different too. I told my husband and he didn't believe me. It's so thin now. The quality's lower as well. It's so frustrating to know that the products we buy are now smaller and cost more now than the years past. Don't get me started on how everything tastes different too now. I love that TikTok is showing what price coordinators and grocery managers have been seeing for years. One of the positives of everybody being connected and sharing everything online is that you can catch on to these problems very quickly anywhere in the country, in the world. And if you wanted to look it up yourself, there are countless examples just on TikTok alone. I could have made an entire video going over everything that I saw. There are entire series people have made finding these items, or accounts dedicated to just showing you all of the issues that they've found by themselves. But we have a couple comments right here from you guys. Just saw a clip where a lady was buying meat in Walmart. She decided the weight and all the meat she weighed was half the weight of what Walmart was charging for. Walmart caught a lawsuit for doing that. There was a massive lawsuit about this of Walmart recently, so it's not too surprising that you start seeing a lot more clips like this.
He's dressed in camouflage gear, but there's no hiding from these cameras. This is a serial shoplifter with expensive taste.
This guy won't stop. We're going to call this guy the Invisible Bandit.
Managing to avoid capture despite hitting Drake's supermarkets a staggering 15 times in the past 2 weeks from Semaphore to Gawler. His target every time is meat, and not the cheap stuff.
All of this quality meat, the Angus Pure, the Wagyu meat is exactly what he's going for.
All up, he's made off with more than $5,000 worth, and his MO is clear. After casually entering the store, he grabs a basket, heads straight for the meat section, and selects his favourite cuts. He then finds a camera black spot where he hides the meat under his jacket. Finally, he beelines to the checkout, pays for something small, and leaves.
So, as you could obviously hear from the clip, this was not in the US. Food price problems are happening all over the world. Look up clips from Canada, Europe, Australia. Everybody's saying the same thing, and you look at the comment section here. I wish him luck in his career choice, and I hope he rips them off as much as they've been ripping us off. This is what happens when you increase prices of essential goods but don't increase wages. This is going to happen a lot now. No one can afford to eat. That's what happens when wages don't increase at the same rate as inflation. There are thousands of comments like this. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's okay to just start ripping off and stealing everything from the grocery store. Of course not, but this has become a lot more common, and then you'll start seeing even more clips like this.
Baby, this one you know is bad. When they put men in your gate so you don't steal, baby, they meats. Oh, girl, this got to be bad, Lord Jesus.
New York is so ghetto that at BJ's, they have their lobster tails locked up. Like, who's out here stealing lobster tails? It's only $35, but yeah, bro. Who out here in New York is stealing lobster tails? Because they got them locked up. Who does that?
Some of the comments come to Romania, even the cheese is locked up. $35 is expensive, that's what I thought too. They got $10 salmon with alarms on it in France. Again, not just a United States problem, and we've gone over it before. There are entire stores that are locked down behind glass for anything that you could think of. So the convenience stores become a lot less convenient. You have to ring a bell and wait for an employee to come over to get your Reese's or toothpaste. And yes, this is happening in cities like New York and Chicago, Seattle. I've seen places in LA and San Francisco as well, but I've shown you examples where I used to live in New Jersey that more and more things are getting locked up in Target and Walmart. The Target that was closest to me where I used to live completely shut down their self-checkout. I'm assuming because there was way too much stealing and it wasn't even in a particularly bad area. So stuff like this just seems to be spreading more and more. Of course, I'm not condoning this type of behavior, but I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes even more common.
I'm at Foodland right now in Laie, Hawaii, and I just want to show you guys how expensive everything really is. It's depressing. Hey, you want to come for a sweet treat? Peanut M&Ms is what I always get. $8. Tiny bag of high chews, $5 right here. Tiny little thing of Skittles, $4. This one's actually wild. $8 for some milk that expires in 4 days. $7 for this tiny little thing of milk. $12 for some yogurt special. $8 for some Lay's. How are we supposed to survive? $15 for 18 eggs.
That is insane.
$6 for some butter. $5 for this little mini thing of cottage cheese. Ty and I would eat this little tiny thing in a sitting. Also, I've been doing the special. Really, it's $6 if you don't got the Mackay points. Oh, you want to have a cute little cookie night? Well, you're going to be spending $8 to get some cookie dough. $8, guys. $9 for this.
I think that's 12 slices.
$9, and that's the points. It's really $10.49.
$10.69.
$11 for that? For this, guys. Let's go look how bad the cereals are. Reese's Puffs. $10. Whoa, Oreos? Never seen that. They're only $9 for a little tiny box.
We should get it.
Some Cocoa Pebbles. Okay, points, $9. No points? You're spending $12. $13 for some Haagen-Dazs ice cream. $8 for some Ben & Jerry's.
So I thought this would be a good segue to some of the clips that I've gotten recently. I ended up going to a Target down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and I've recorded some of the food prices down there to compare to where I live up in North Carolina, and also those crazy Hawaii prices. We can start off with some of the fruits. Here's the apples, anywhere from $5 to $6 for 2 to 3 pounds. Some other stuff, oranges, lemons, grapefruit, were about $1 each there, and then the bags were about $3 to almost $5. Then we'll go over to some of the ground beef. They really didn't have a lot, to be honest, and 2 pounds of the 85/15 ground beef was $13. Here was the leaner beef, 93.7. This was only a pound and it ended up costing $8.19. Some of the boneless, skinless chicken breast was $3.79 a pound. Then we have 12 large eggs at $5.49. Even Target's version was $5.19, way cheaper than the Hawaii prices. Same with the milk. This was $2.99. It's about $2.50 where I live in North Carolina personally. Then we went over to the bread aisle and I just wanted to show you guys this. There wasn't that much bread, to be honest. A little bit more empty than I would have expected, but most of it ranged around $4 a pop. Here's some of the rice here. The jasmine rice was $6, but then we went down to the 5-pound bag of white rice and it was $3.59. And here we go over to the cereal. This is actually the first time that I've seen this. I don't normally buy cereal, so maybe this has been a thing for a while, but there's a giant size now compared to the family size. So that one seems like the new big size at $6 a pop, when the family size was about $5. And we'll finish off with the chips that were in the same price range, around $5 a piece. So if you were comparing it to any of the Hawaii clips, this was massively cheaper, but I would say everything was a little bit more expensive compared to my grocery stores in North Carolina. But we could switch over to a little bit more of the fast food and all the shrinkflation and the price increases there.
Chipotle's fall off from GOAT to continues. This comes to us from the Chipotle subreddit, A worker at Chipotle shared the new bowls, and they are smaller, as they call it, way smaller. And my first thought was, I can't wait to be the uncle, the dad that brings up the good days of Chipotle. Imagine driving the kids home from Little League Baseball, you stop at Chipotle, and you tell those kids, you wouldn't believe what Chipotle was like in 2013. You would not believe what they would put into these bowls. You wouldn't believe how much it cost. It cost $8? Yes. Yes. That burrito was the size of a football.
And now Chipotle bowls are like $15. I've seen some people pay almost $20. Some of the comments, Chipotle in 2013 was an incredible run. No, you guys are missing peak Chipotle when it first came out in the early 2000s. I literally dream about it. There's a little bit more on the funny side, but still a prime example, and they're not the only ones to do it. Here's another one, Moe's Southwest Grill. There are a lot of restaurants very similar to Chipotle, Godoba, Pancheros. I feel like I'm missing more of them. The bowls are just slightly smaller and the price is just slightly more expensive. It just ends up becoming worse and worse of a deal. Some of the comments for this one, I've been defending them against Chipotle and then they do this to us. As a Moe's employee, I miss the old bowl. Yep, and the new salsa is awful. Same exact stuff has been happening with the drinks when it comes to this type of stuff as well.
Sure.
So, as you can see, the soda is full to the top, right? But it feels super heavy with the ice. So we just want to show you how much soda you're getting from Cane's. That's it?
Wait. No.
You're lying.
That's it. It's literally 16 ounces of soda.
In a 32, right?
In a 32 ounce. It's half your soda is ice. So look at now show this look. That's how much soda you get.
Wow.
They give me half a soda.
Raising Cane's, please do better. Thanks.
That's everywhere, not just Cane's. That's why you say no ice, which we'll get to in a second. Sadly, that's the standard. Just ask for no ice or light ice next time. Wait till you find out how much air potato chip companies put in their bags. I mean, we saw that earlier. But then recently, I saw a screenshot. I believe this was at Dunkin' Donuts. Please be advised there's a charge of $1 for no ice in all iced beverages. So now some places are charging even more if you ask for no ice because you'll actually be getting more of the drink. And I wouldn't be surprised if this starts spreading everywhere as well. All of these deception and marketing tactics, advertising one thing and giving you another, have started spawning lawsuits like this left and right.
Judge is now green-lighting a lawsuit against Burger King, allowing it to move forward after 19 customers in more than a dozen states sued, basically arguing they were sold Whoppers in more ways than one. Duped, they argue, by ads that, according to the suit, make it look like the burgers are about 35% bigger, with more than double the actual meat than the real burger itself. Burger King denies all this.
What it means, Hallie, is in the judge's own words, idealized imagery is something that is commonly used in the world of food advertising, which is to say that BK could reasonably argue consumers know better than this and wouldn't be fooled if there's a slight difference between what's in an ad and what they're actually purchasing. What the judge is saying in this case is it seems to be so egregious that they should be able to move forward. Now, here's the top line in all of this story. He's allowing the lawsuit to proceed. It doesn't mean that Burger King is guilty of any sort of misleading consumers or the public.
But if it's so egregious that they're allowed to proceed, that's not a good sign. At least for Burger King, though. We can look at some of the comments. How about McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's? All of them do it. Ads should accurately represent the product. In Japan, it's the law. They give out junior Whoppers, calling them Whoppers. Somebody sue Subway for their foot-long nachos that don't look anything like the photos. I didn't even know that existed. And I know a lot of this video, when it comes to the fast food or any of the grocery prices, a lot of people are buying pretty unhealthy items. And I'm not trying to say that I'm the healthiest person on the planet and I only eat whole foods and literally everything that I put in my body is the best it could possibly be for me. But there are many clips of people showing how much they're spending on groceries, and it's some pretty rough stuff they end up buying. But whether you're buying the processed foods, any of the snacks, the chips, or very healthy items that are supposed to be better for you, it seems like recalls for these products at the stores are happening every single day.
Here's what you need to toss this week. There are 7 major food recalls happening right now, and one of them is a class 1, which is the most serious kind. That one is for Williams Farms tomatoes, which are recalled in Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, due to the risk of salmonella. It is a class 1, which means that eating those tomatoes could unalive you. Last week's cucumber recall from Bednar Growers has expanded to 18 states with 45 people sickened by salmonella. Greenwise baby food sold at Publix in 8 states may have elevated levels of lead. Hormel is recalling over a ton of Dinty Moore beef stew because it could be contaminated with wood. Cisco classic chocolate pudding sold in 14 states is under recall because of damaged cans that could of course lead to deadly bacterial growth. And if anyone in your life has food allergies, Shore Lunch oven style breading mix is under recall in 10 states due to undeclared milk. And Taste of Cuba's ham croquettes sold in Florida have undeclared soy and sesame. So check your kitchen, share this with someone you think could be affected.
So if you want to look up this kind of stuff on your own, just type in food recalls on TikTok. It almost seems like an unlimited amount of content with everything under the sun being recalled. So you're getting less product and having to pay more, whether it's at the grocery store or any type of fast food. And then there's a decent chance that it'll have a recall and you're not even supposed to eat it in the first place. So we'll go over to another one of the possible solutions that many people talk about in the comments, and that is farmers markets. But before we do that, we could look at a comment from one of you guys. Farmers markets have lost their minds. The prices they charge for common everyday produce is out of this world. A lot of them just resell stuff from the grocery store and pass it off as local farm grown organic produce. So there's a couple things right there that I wanted to go over. We have a clip up on screen with copyrighted music just showing some of the prices from this woman, with blackberries and raspberries being $30, 3 pounds of raw local honey was $27, cow and goat cheese being $12 a piece, 1 pound of beef liver being $17, and wild yellowtail at $25. I've also talked about my local farmers market as well. Virtually everything there is more expensive than the grocery store. I have seen some examples around the country where their produce is cheaper. It's just not the same story for me, and apparently a lot of other people as well. I know it's all apparently locally grown, and it's very difficult to compete with companies like Walmart, Publix, anything like that. But in today's world, in 2025, people are just trying to spend as little as possible. So I don't think the farmers market is the answer for many people right now, unfortunately. And the second half of that comment from you guys, I also found a clip talking about the exact same thing.
A little PSA, if you go to a farmer's market and they have PLU stickers on all of their produce, you're not actually buying from a farm, you're actually buying from the wholesaler, and they're getting their same stuff that is from Kroger and Walmart. So you're not actually buying anything different.
And surprisingly, that's a bit more common than I thought it actually was. I initially believed that farmers markets you weren't even allowed to do that, but I guess you can now. And most likely you'll be paying a little bit more just because of where you are, compared to going to Kroger's or Walmart, like he said. Some of the comments here, my farmers market have vendors selling blueberries in November. There's no way they're locally grown. I'm glad that people realize this. Had a guy ask for local bananas and said we live in Virginia. There's no local bananas. He said I buy them at the farmers market all the time, so those are not local, I promise you. So honestly, I don't really see this slowing down anytime soon, unfortunately. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.